So now we will have Reverend Carol up to share her talk for today, which is a Sunday surprise. And I'll have you explain where that came from.
I will explain that.
Let me move some things away here.
No problem.
We have a lot happening up here today.
No worries.
Well, you are wearing kind of aloha blue. I guess what that color is referred to.
It could be a aloha blue.
The power.
There's no silver, but
There is no silver, it's all gold. I told you my whole jewelry thing, okay? So Sunday surprise is, I was up here on Wednesday for World Day of Prayer. And thank you for the prayer chaplains that came and the members that came to help us celebrate Unity's World Day of Prayer. We actually Skyped into New Zealand, and my friend Rachel, Reverend Rachel, who is also a mentee of Reverend Tony Bain, and I got to see her ordained. She prayed us in from New Zealand, so that was really special for us. And then we went on to pray. We prayed and held the fires that were happening in our prayers. We did that on Wednesday, and then we went and had a great class. We're doing the Wealth Spark and Spiritual Economics. And then we came back on Thursday and prayed some more. And really kind of sat in the consciousness of prayer for our world. I think specifically for me, for our country at this time. So it's a gentle, tender time in our country, and it requires us to all stop and pray, I believe. So I'm not mandating it, but I am suggesting. So I didn't have a talk, so I was up here. Oh, then I came up for Friday for meditation. So I was up here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the good parts of the day, and I said, well, usually that time I'm staying at home and I can think of talks, and I had no talk title. So when Sarah texted me on Wednesday and said, hey Rev, what's your talk title? I said, it's Sunday surprise. She said, what does that mean? I said, I have no clue what I'm talking about on Sunday. And so we made it Sunday surprise, and then I got some great suggestions to maybe talk about spiritual things that you can do, spiritual practices, and I would have had to do way too much homework for that just to say why I didn't. And so I decided to do, the talk today is called Back to School, a Return to Order. So as a child, I secretly looked forward to going back to school in September. And it was not because I was a stellar student or was eager to learn more math. It was because I got to see my friends who didn't live in my immediate neighborhood. I had been playing with my friends all summer long, and the new school year was full of promises and new friends and new experiences and lots of social opportunities. I like the social opportunities. Yet besides, or maybe alongside the social time, September was for me a return to order. Girl Scouts would start up again, Catechism would start up again, my bowling league on Saturday mornings would start up again. And while I didn't like to get up for the morning of it, school and activities provided me with some structure. It was the same when I was an adult and I had a foster child in my home. Back in September, things got more orderly. So today I want to talk about the power of order. In Unity, we believe there are 12 powers. And each of us possess these powers, and we call these powers forth. One is faith, one is love, all the way through, but the month of September, the power is order. So order is both a noun and a verb. I like words that do double duty. As a noun, it's an arrangement or disposition of people. I filed the cards in alphabetical order. An authoritative command, I order somebody to do something. Or a particular social, political, or economic system. If only the 5th graders would rise against the order of the 6th graders. It's also a verb. To give an authoritative direction. To request something be made. I order something at a restaurant. To arrange. All entries are ordered by a certain date. The word has a lot of uses and a lot of connotations. And for me, September always means order. Now, as a part of the 12 powers, this is how we teach what that power of order is within you. Order is, it has an apostle attached to it. James of Alphaeus is the apostle. Order is my ability to develop consciousness in proper sequence. My mind, my body, and my affairs. Order is my adjustment and harmony in health, illumination, and prosperity. I align myself with that order of health, illumination, and prosperity. Order is my ability to keep God first in my continuous development. Order is your ability to develop consciousness in proper sequence. And it eliminates generalization. There's a divine plan unfolding in you right now. Order is your ability to keep God first in your development. So there's a denial. So if we wanted to talk about a denial and an affirmation, a denial would go like this. Chaos and confusion are hereby eliminated from my life. Chaos and confusion are hereby eliminated from my life. That's a good denial. A denial is gently sweeping away the cobwebs of the negative beliefs that we tell ourselves. And then the affirmation is, God is first in my life and is revealing my very next step right now. So if you don't know what your next step is or your next talk is, it's okay. Because there is a plan. And when you come to the plan, you come to the plan. There's many interesting characteristics in a person that is disorganized versus the person who's organized. The person who's disorganized takes a considerable time to get things done. They're very creative, but they appear to lack discipline. Another interesting fact of their being is that maybe this is just me, they get defensive when you point out their disorder to them. I know when my house is not in order. I know it by how I be in the world, because I am not aligned with that order. When I lack discipline, I usually get defensive about it. Sometimes we will argue that in our own way, we're organized and that this is our process. That's what I tell myself. I say that to myself when my files on I have a beautiful breakfast bar in my home that actually gets stacked up with papers. And it gets stacked up higher and higher until the papers like fall over. That's my key, when the papers fall over. But I always say it's my process. Don't even ask me about my third bedroom, because my third bedroom is kind of like one of those dumping ground for everything that doesn't belong in the house and should go to the garage or to Goodwill, and it goes to live in the third bedroom for a while. On the other hand, the orderly and organized human being, not me, gets things done in a timely manner. They have discipline, and the majority of times they are open to and have time for suggestions. Then the organized one becomes this better team player. One common factor in disorganization could be laziness or procrastination. As of yesterday, I still didn't have the topic for this talk. I was not being lazy, but I was in fact procrastinating. And if you knew my week, I had a lot going on. What I wish to point out here is this. If you wish to build a good life, you're going to have to be a little organized. You will need a little order in your life. When building a home, you don't start with the roof, you begin with the foundation. And you're gonna need to know what materials you need to build that house and where to get them and how to use the materials to build from the ground up. You might have to use a map to build that house or a plan. So, to have peace and joy in life, you may begin with order. That's the simple first step and the foundation. The question of discipline is interesting. Those that I've observed, including myself, that sometimes lack discipline, am I the only one? Have problems dealing with issues. We must process our issues. I'm not referring to discipline in the sense of submitting to authority, but I fought authority and authority always wins. John Mellencamp, right? Sometimes my procrastination has a little something to do with an internal rebellion. I'm referring to discipline in the sense of having an interest and of caring about the conclusion. You see, people who do not care for order tend to not care for others. And I dare say that today. They don't have time for others because they're so consumed with leading their life from a sort of chaos and selfish knowing. Or, as I call it, my 20s. I know when I'm in that place, by the way. Now, I know when I go to that place. So, recently I've been asking myself, am I so attached to order that this is going to take up some of my brain cells or make me crazy? I have a neighbor who parks his truck in the opposite direction of everybody else on the street.
Oh.
It drives me crazy. It's not in order. I think it's against the law.
It is official.
But I ask myself, am I so attached to order that this is going to take up some of my energy, some of my time? I, just like everyone, park the right way in the street, but there it is, and I judged it. Right or wrong, I was not consciously neutral about it, am not consciously neutral about it, and the older I get, the more I'm friends with order in a mature way, to clear the way of the old and prepare for the new. And I'm praying for the guy across the street. He's in his 20s. I pray for him. Now I go out and I bless him. Bless you, guy who don't know how to park on the street.
The southern way? Oh, bless his heart.
Bless. No, I tend to bless. If I'm gonna bless, I'm gonna bless like a minister. I try not to bless his heart that way. I know when I'm doing the snarky blessing, and I try not to do snarky blessings.
Snarky blessing.
Cora Fillmore said this: the divine law of order, working in the subconscious, unearths buried talents. It reveals hidden powers and paves the way for their expression. The divine law of order coordinates the mind powers so that our new inspirations can come forth and find unhindered recognition in our conscious mind. The divine law of order emphasizes the overcoming power of man, therefore abolishing fear and despair. Because when I'm in order, I'm not worried. I'm not fearful. I'm not in despair. In my life, Reverend Martha Smock, she was a Unity minister, and she actually was did the Daily Word. She was the publisher of the Daily Word for a long time, and everything you need to know is in this book, because it was my only Unity book for a long time. So I want to read you what she says about divine order. If you find that you do not easily remember long affirmations of truth, there are two words that you can easily remember. Two words that can work wonders for you: divine order. When things go wrong, on days when you feel as though you got up on the wrong side of the bed, How needed is this idea of divine order? Before you let yourself sigh and exclaim, it's just one of those days when everything seems to go wrong, stop right there and silently, firmly, faithfully declare divine order. Give thanks that divine order is established in you, in all that you do, in the work at your hands, in your home and in your family. When you work in the realization that you are under God's law of love, His law is good, that His divine order is being established in and for you, you find yourself functioning on a new level. Your mind is clearer, your body is stronger, your emotions are calmer and less perturbed. Divine order is an inner state of mind that finds expression through you. I love part of this book. My secret is that on most days, I have no clue what divine order looks like until the moment it's here. I woke up late. I got here at a perfect time and got that parking spot. The other day I was really annoyed because I was coming up to the church and I was late. I had to stop and get gas on top of being late. And if you know me, I am habitually early for everything, right? I'm here half an hour before I'm supposed to be here, because then things can go wrong. But if I show up like 5 minutes beforehand and I plan it that way, I'm in big trouble. But I was coming up here and I realized I had to stop for gas. And what I found out was there was a huge wreck of cars that had been there 10 to 15 minutes earlier. And I would have been in that huge wreck of cars. So I trust and have faith in divine order, but I have not a clue as to how it plays out or how it works. A year or so ago, I went on a date. You guys love my dating stories. The guy called me after the date. We had a great time. Can't wait to see you again. The next day, calling me, how was your day? I miss talking with you. I thought, okay, maybe this is somebody that I can date. And then he ghosted me for a day. And then he ghosted me the next day. And then the next day. And then the fourth day, he texted me and said we had no chemistry. Now, I had just revealed that I was a minister. So I think he might have Googled me and found out that I was a unity minister, and he may have seen a talk or two that scared the heck out of him because he was Pentecostal. But you know, I don't judge by religion. We in Unity believe that there are many paths to God, so I don't judge. But that experience was divine order playing out in my life. I tell you this dating tale to let you know about an awareness that I had. See, the old Karol, she would have beat herself up because I have issues. Ministers is being one of them. I'm not enough this, or I'm too much of that. I'm too heavy, too big in personality, but this person right here today is doing her best to do her spiritual work. I recognize that all was in divine order, and that God would not allow anyone to stay in my orbit that is not right and perfect for me. I know what I seek is seeking me. Now that's Rumi, that's not Karol saying that, but Rumi says what I seek is seeking me. So although I was surprised and I was taken aback, the situation did not move me from my center. I declared divine order. Divine order is that alignment of all aspects of our lives. It comes from the inside out, meaning within our own minds, our homes, our environment, our finances, our physicality, and our relationships. Having divine order in all aspects of our lives is essential and vital to the growth of our consciousness. When we become more open-minded and sophisticated in our spiritual quest of asking the universe why certain things are laid out in front of us to experience, So when something comes up, let me translate this. When something comes up that appears it might be negative, I say, sweet spirit, what did this come here to teach me? And there's a whole different energy to it than if I say, why is this happening to me?
Right.
Some people seem to live a charmed life filled with rewards and personal happiness, while others seem to suffer and be challenged most of their life, no matter how good a life they lead. As you move through your life, if you think about it, it seems that everyone you needed showed up perfect in every way for whatever requirements you had. My biggest challenges were also my biggest blessings and my biggest lessons. First they were a lesson, then they became a blessing. In this intelligent system that you are a part of, that arrives from an infinite, invisible force that flows through everyone and everything. It comes from the ethers. You can't see order coming to you. You can't see the good things coming to you. You can't see the things that come in the not so good packages that turn out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. If you trust in this invisible life force, the divine order of all things, look back at some of those circumstances that maybe you interpreted as bad, and you're going to see how it all perfectly fell into place at the right time with the right person in your existence for that experience. I'm going to paraphrase the late metaphysical teacher, Dr. Wayne Dyer. If you embrace the idea that there is a greater plan unfolding that you cannot see, as a result, you will go from being an actor who's influenced by others to playing the roles of producer and director, to being the writer, producer, director, and star of your own glorious life. You'll also be the casting director who possesses the ability to audition anyone you choose. And that is my dating approach now. I'm auditioning others. And I am the director and producer. Based on your choices on taking the path of no resistance and staying harmonized with the ultimate producer of your entire life, our universal, all-creating source, another word for God, with everything falling in divine order, as it should be. Divine order is ever present in my experience, and there is plenty of time for all that I choose to do. I express wisdom, understanding, and love in all my dealings with others. My words are divinely guided. I see myself expressing the creative energy of my spirit in my work, writing and speaking words of truth easily and with a depth of understanding and wisdom. Fun, uplifting ideas flow through my consciousness for joyful expression, and I follow through on the ideas received, bringing them all into manifestation. Can we go to the next slide? So there's a wonderful affirmation down here. So this gives you a little information about order. I am in the flow of divine order. I'd like us all to say that 3 times. Ready? I am in the flow of divine order. I am in the flow of divine order. I am in the flow of divine order. Remember that anything you finish with your I am with, that's why you'll hear me pause and take a breath, because the I am centers me with God. So I say, I am in the flow of divine order. And I know that for you too today. Thank you so much for letting me talk and bearing with me all week. Thank you.